I have been so looking forward to today's chat, like counting down the days excited, because if you don't know our next guest, you're going to absolutely fall in love with her. It is the lovely, lovely Rachel Molenda. She's a mindset coach, motivational speaker for women who want to cultivate the courage to do the damn thing and create the reality to do so.
Thank you for having me in all of my perfectly imperfections.
And that's really what it is about, right? And I think, is especially in the world that we work is in acne. And I know you've never had acne yourself, but you had your own journey with disordered eating, with weight loss. And I find like weight loss and acne, they're so similar because it really comes down to your appearance and how you feel about yourself and how you show up in the world. So for you, Rachel, how did like going through that health journey while trying to cultivate your mindset kind of mesh together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll first off by saying when I came to speak with your community, or was invited to speak with your community, I was a little nervous because I haven't experienced those challenges, and I don't want to act like, oh, you can just use mindset to snap your fingers and be done with it. I mean, that is true, kind of. It's easier said than done, though. But I don't want to act like I have the solution for something that I haven't experienced it. However, I have found the ties between that and disordered eating, which is what I experienced, to be very similar. And so, just a bit of background on that: I had an eating disorder growing up. I had anorexia, which turned into 10 years of disordered eating. So a lot of starting fresh on Monday. Like every birthday wish was like just lose weight, get the thin body. I fully just accepted. I was like, I guess women were just meant to hate their bodies and be at war with food their whole life. And then something started to change. So I didn't know it was a mindset switch at the time, but now when I look back, it was a mindset switch because I was just sharing with you previously that again, I always had that dream of like to lose the weight, to have a flat stomach. And I was like, when I get there, I will be happy. And the thing is, I never did get there. I never got the flat stomach. I've been every weight from 115 pounds to 210 pounds. I didn't have a flat stomach at any point. I have one of these V bellies. It's always been there.
Which many women can relate to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's many women can relate to that. And I think your story of weight loss, even if women have acne, they can hear those same words like, I'll be happy when my skin is clear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that. So it's just noticing what story are you subscribing to, and a reminder to create the story that serves us. And the other thing to add to that is creating the evidence to support that story. So again, it's much more difficult to look in the mirror and say, I don't like my acne, but I accept it as it is, when your whole social media feed is people with clear skin. You're gonna be like, I don't belong here. So it's like, can you find, and NYX is a really great brand that does this, where NYX celebrates all diversities of all kind. And for me, actually, this is a big one with body image. Seeing women in bigger, fatter bodies, and I say that word neutrally because it is, but seeing women in bigger, fatter bodies being sexy, and me actually being like, wow, they are hot. That changed the game for me. And I think the same thing goes for seeing a woman with acne who just owns it, and that you can look at that person and be like, wow, like they are beautiful, to be like, yeah, both can be true. You can have acne and still be and feel beautiful.
I know. I think that's important is both can be true at the same time.
That's it.
You don't need to have just one truth. There can be two things at once.
I think once you can look through the lens of your world as if there's not one truth, like many things can be true, and everyone's just projecting their reality, that changes everything. Like there's very few universal truths. There's many truths about money. There's many truths about beauty. Therefore, like one thing isn't true. And I think when you start looking at things from that way, like I'm very careful when I've actually stopped taking advice from people unless I truly want their input, because it's just a projection. And if someone asks me for advice, it's just a projection based on my experience. It's not necessarily a universal truth, because there could be something else to be a rebuttal to that, or to contrast that. So I think it's really helpful when you're going about the world, when you're being exposed to these stories, being like, well, is that actually one that's going to support me? Is this like a thought and belief that I want to adopt? Or is there another one? And even if it's not true, I always say, be delusional. Choose the story that's going to support you either way, even if it's so outlandish. Because again, the mind is going to hear whatever you tell it. And so it's like, why not tell it a story that's actually going to support it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like we get to decide if we're going to accept that as a truth or not. We get to decide if that's going to be something we take on.
Yeah.
And for me, I've really struggled with mental health, like anxiety and depression and stress and burnout and all of these things. And for like the last few years, I've been telling myself that story that I'm always stressed, I'm always overwhelmed, I'm always burnt out, I have horrible anxiety, my depression's really bad. And I say these things over and over. And when I've been starting in the last, like I've been doing manifestation and mindset work for 15 years, and I still kind of like, fell out of the loop and started struggling. And when I really started to say, no, like I'm not going to be telling myself this narrative anymore, because it doesn't serve me. So I'm going to find a new truth. My truth doesn't have to be my mental health is garbage. So now I've been really, really working on reprogramming my brain to like catch myself when those thoughts are forming, or catch myself when I'm about to say to somebody, oh, I'm like, no, that's not going to serve me anymore.
Yeah.
And really working to say, what does serve me now?
I love the word opportunity. It's probably one of my favorite words right now. Opportunity. So when someone says to me, well, I'm eating that, and what if I get a breakout, or I'm getting a breakout? And I say, okay, well, where's our opportunities around this? And constantly am I writing out that, and to the point where I will pick up my phone and I start to go say open, write the word open, and opportunities pops up. Every time something negative happens, I go to bed and I say to the universe, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity to learn. I didn't like it, and I'm not going to like it right now because it sucks. However, guess what I'm going to do? Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to reconsider this, and I'm going to look at it a little bit differently, and I'm going to do this. And I set that, and I sleep like a baby. Before, I used to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Anxiety ridden, yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like all these wrinkles with my liver from holding in all that crap. You know what I mean? These types of things. We can thank the bad. Like, we forget that.
Well, Rachel, thank you so, so much. Everybody, check the show notes because I have all the links to Rachel's Instagram, the Reunion Dance Party. Highly recommend. Go hang with her on the socials and in real life, because yes, it exists. And we'll see you guys next week on the Clear Skin Chronicles.